What is going on, everybody? This is David Greenspan, as you know, and I want to welcome you back to Season 4 of the Mindshare podcast. Additional podcasts are available at mindshare101.com and on all the major podcast platforms. This week's episode is sponsored by Kit's Keep in Touch Systems and our friends over at the Buzz Conference. Now, I continue to tell you about this. The Buzz has 2 dates that you need to be marking down in your calendar right now. One of them is coming up in 9 days from now on June 24th. So again, mark that one down, June 24th. Make sure you go over to their site, get your tickets for this. This is a philanthropic initiative, which has a goal of raising over $1 million over the next 5 years to support Indigenous communities. Now, the next one, and again, that's coming up June 24th, so we'll get those tickets right now. Well, don't do it right now. Do it after the show. But the next one is called Disruption 2022. Totally pumped about this one as well. This is taking place September 7th and 8th. So both events are going to be located at the Liberty Grand in Toronto, Ontario. Be sure to go and follow the Buzz at the Buzz Conference on Instagram, as well as give them a visit at www.thebuzzconference.com to keep up with everything that they are up to. And of course, we are very proud to have the Buzz Conference as an ongoing sponsor for the Mindshare podcast. Now, of course, Kits is always with us. I mean, how could Kits not be with us? But we just came out with a brand new open house registry system, which allows you guys, as you're doing all your open houses, which we know are really important right now in the marketing of those listings to get those things sold. The market has shifted. It is not a bad market. But this open house registry is wicked because it ties right into Loop CRM. And Loop is, of course, the CRM that Kits has built by realtors for realtors. It is attached to your contact list, your calendar, and all of your marketing tools, action plans, newsletters, drip campaigns, websites, social media, email. I mean, the list goes on. For those of you using Kits, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you that are not, what are you waiting for? Go check it out. Go to my website, mindshare101.com. Click on marketing up at the top right corner. Get in touch with my team. They'll be happy to set up a free demo for you, show you around, let you know everything that's going on, talk about the details, and see how we can help you get out there to build more mindshare so that you can get a lot more market share. And of course, as you know, we are on a push to get to 100 reviews on iTunes. So I'd like to ask you, if you haven't done this yet, please go over to ratethispodcast.com/mindshare101. Give us a nice little review. Let us know how much you love the show. 5 stars, 6 stars if they got it. If you've already done it, I'm grateful. I thank you. If you haven't done it and you're a regular listener, again, what are you waiting for? No joking. Take a moment, ratethispodcast.com/mindshare101. Of course, thank you in advance. Today's episode is number 185. She is leading the development and expansion of the Realty One Group brand across Eastern Canada by attracting, onboarding, and developing franchisees. Her extensive experience in the real estate industry has positioned her as a trusted advisor for many agents, team leaders, and brokerage owners. Previously the #1 franchise sales and strategic growth consultant at RE/MAX Integra, she has developed a robust set of skills that has led to numerous accolades, including the RE/MAX Integra Franchise Sales MVP, winner of BREV's recruiting contest, and most notably, #1 franchise sales consultant in North America in 2020 for RE/MAX. She has consistently ranked in the top 5 for RE/MAX's franchise sales associates in North America and awarded nearly 100 franchises throughout her career. Her ability to bring a variety of transactions, including conversions, mergers, acquisitions, expansions, and startups to successful outcomes, combined with her energy, passion, and growth-minded mentality, makes her an unstoppable force. Joining me on this episode of the Mindshare podcast is Director of Franchise Development for Realty One Group, Jennifer Dominey. Jen, welcome to the Mindshare podcast. How's it going?
Hi, David. It's going really good. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely excited to have you here. So listen, I just shared a whole bunch about you, about your past and what you're up to now, but in your own words, take us through, just tell everybody a little bit more about who you are, how long you've been in the industry, and what your role is all about.
Sure. So, I've been in the real estate industry for almost a decade now. I can't even believe how quickly time goes.
Time flies, doesn't it?
It's so crazy. But I've enjoyed every single step of it and I've learned so much. And I love the real estate industry so, so much. But I got into the industry almost a decade ago and I started at a large independent real estate company in Mississauga. And I was the recruiting manager there for about 2 years. I helped them grow to 800 agents at the time. So it was pretty exciting, every part of it. I had the opportunity to go to the opposite side of an independent, so the branded franchise side. And that was my previous company. And I enjoyed every moment at that company. And again, I learned so much and I did franchise sales there. I recently made a move over to Realty One Group, which I'm really, really excited about. It's an
With
awesome
a wicked
brand.
crew of people over there, might I add.
I know, such a
Right?
good team that we've assembled. It's just it's so exciting, and I'm excited to grow something and be the part of something from the ground up, at least in Eastern Canada. So there, I'm going to focus on awarding franchises, and then once those franchises have come aboard, servicing them throughout the length of their term, working on onboarding them, helping them with their growth goals. So that, in a nutshell, is what my role is at Realty One Group.
Well, it's exciting. And I've been watching as you guys are sort of making your headways and kind of taking those steps. And I mean, the brand, which we'll talk a little bit more about later on, looks really, really exciting. Like we just said, like with an amazing group of people, much the same. We've seen a shift over the years in sort of what the landscape looks like. And we'll tackle that in a little bit. But it's exciting to watch. And I think that just like the style and everything you guys bring to the table, it looks very cool. It looks very fresh. And I am totally, totally pumped for you guys. So congrats on all of that for sure.
Thank you.
Now, the other day we were on a call and you and I had chatted about a whole bunch of different stuff, but you had a great answer for this. And I wanted to kind of bring it back. And I'm not going to say it for you, but I had asked you a question around like advice for a successful team leader. And let me preface this maybe and say, we got a lot of really amazing agents out there. There's some that just want to be like individual agents, like rock stars that are just going to continue doing what they do. But we've also got a lot of people that are kind of like aspiring to get to that next place, right? That maybe build a team or go from having a team to like get into the broker space and like have a brokerage, maybe get into that bricks and mortar, whatever that be. And, I said to you, like, what advice do you have? And I want to re-ask that right now. What advice do you have for a successful team leader who may want to become a broker owner?
So it's a really good question. And, I get approached quite a lot from successful team leaders and successful top agents about starting a brokerage. So when we start having these conversations, like I unpack it a little bit. And my first question is always to understand their why, why they want to do this, why they want to take that next step. And, if their why is because they think that it's the next natural step, that's what they should do, that's what everybody does, I start to ask them deeper questions about, what does that look like? Where is your passion? What are your goals, both business and personal? Like, do you want to focus on selling? Is your passion selling? Do you want to grow that team even bigger? But is your heart really out in the field working on your sales? Or if you're going to be operating that brokerage and growing that brokerage yourself, do you want to focus on recruiting, retention, servicing those agents? Because your individual sales are going to kind of have to take a back seat and you're going to really have to focus on growing out that brokerage and then maintaining it. So they're very two different worlds. So finding out that why and really talking about it can uncover a lot. But if someone was like their vision was always to start a company and that's always what they wanted to do, or maybe things have shifted in their goals and now like their heart is in opening a brokerage and they're starting to have those thoughts, I would recommend starting a business plan. That's my biggest piece of advice. You can never start that too early. So, start jotting down your ideas, start jotting down your thoughts, talk to other broker owners that you have relationships with, because there's a lot more that goes into starting a brokerage than I think people think. With all the startup costs, with locations, you want to decide when you're going to be able to break even, who you're going to recruit, what are your packages going to look like so that you stay profitable and competitive in the market that you're in. There's just so much that goes into it. So, start a business plan. I'm a big fan of business plans. I have one personally and professionally, and I think that anyone in any industry should really leverage a business plan.
I couldn't agree more with that. I think that we've heard the term, find your why for a number of years now. And I think that when everybody really digs into that, like outside of taking that like kind of cliche line that we've been using about find your why, but you get into the depth of what that really means. I think you bring home a really good point when you say that of, you may want to just be focused on the sales and like getting out there and making the money and, just focused on that. Or you may have an aspiration, actually lead a team and build a culture and no longer really be on the street, kind of like front facing, but kind of be in the background, making sure that things are working. And I think that's a great point you bring up about that, is to really figure out like, where do you want to be? How do you want that day to look? Like I had this conversation with somebody yesterday who is making a transition from, one career, has been doing real estate part-time and is looking to do the full-time thing. He's a great dude, like does a great job out there, working really, really, really hard. And, the question was, look at it and basically find your why.
Right.
Like, do I really want to make this transition right now? What other things are going to change? And this is where I'm going with this. What other things are going to change in my life when I do that? And is that where I want to be? So now as you bring up the business plan, absolutely crucial. Like if you don't know your numbers and you don't have a plan to where you want to go, it's like saying, yeah, I'm coming over. I get in the car, I start driving, but you never actually gave me the address. Well, I'm never going to get there. Right.
Right.
So it's crucial. Those are some really good points. And I think for everybody that's got these aspirations of, growing that team or moving into that brokerage space, understand how your day-to-day is going to change, map out what the whole landscape looks like, and then make a decision whether or not you're going to take that step. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah.
Okay. So now we know this. We know that when we look at like the big brands versus like the smaller kind of boutiques, independents, maybe as we call them, they haven't got access to the same training, the same technology as the big brands do. So overall, what is the biggest challenge that brokers actually have when it comes to growing their brokerage?
Are you talking about branded companies and independents?
Yeah, like if somebody wants to go out, like I'd say this, like if I'm a smaller group and I want to get to that next level. I either want to grow the brokerage or maybe find a way to like I like to call it, build a lot more mindshare out there in the marketplace. What is that challenge that we have of, I guess, yeah, I would lump that into like both independents and like smaller brokerages, whether you're with a big brand. I want to grow.
Right.
What do I have to do to grow? Like, what is my biggest challenge when it comes to the actual growth?
I think having a good foundation, having good systems and tools and process in place is crucial to growth, because you need to have a well-oiled machine in order to service everybody and service all of that growth. And you have to be there to always retain and support your agents that you already have. If you're planning on bringing in more, expanding to different markets, like you have to have someone in each of those locations to service those agents. So setting yourself up for success with the systems, tools, processes, having good culture. With some of the legacy brands, some of the challenges I've noticed is, there's a lot of saturation. There's a lot of offices. So it makes it more difficult to expand into other markets because chances are there's already another office in there. And there's only so many agents that you can draw from, right? For recruiting purposes. So yeah, those are the things that I would say would help with expansion if that's what you were looking to do.
Yeah, totally. And like, when I said like I'm a broker and I want to help not just, let's say, myself now from an expansion perspective, but even just focusing on my actual agents and say like I want to help them get to the next level. What can I do to help my agents with that? And I think you just kind of touched on that, because I know you just sort of said a few of these things, and we brought this up in the call the other day, but maybe we expand on these. But like when we talked about support and that strong offering and the tools and the services, what are you seeing from that part of it when we talk about, again, what can we do to help the agents get to the next level? Because I'm a broker owner. I want to help them, and I'm looking going, well, I've got to have a unique selling proposition. I've got to create that culture. Tell me more about that, like helping the agents get to the next level.
So helping agents get to the next level, like I heard this the other day and I really liked it. I don't know who said it, but I liked it. And it was always, never stop recruiting your own agents. And I think this kind of falls into that bucket because you always need to service them and support them and get them to the next level. So you can do that by, being there, just being a sounding board. You can do that by having really great training. You can have really great process in place. You can provide opportunities to them. Maybe that's, a team office. Maybe that's, incorporating, but just having that support, having that culture, having process, having training, providing marketing materials, all those things that will get those agents to the next place.
So when we look at support and we think to ourselves, I mean, I'm there, they can call me anytime. Is that enough? Like, is there like something, maybe if you think off the top of your head of like, without obviously naming any names anywhere, but something around where you've seen like really strong support, something that was like a wonderful model for support for agents versus something that maybe wasn't as strong, where, we felt that the agents were kind of almost flying by the seat of their pants because they haven't got what they need from the office?
I mean, I don't think just someone saying I'm there, they can call me when they need me is enough.
Okay.
At least not these days. I think
Yeah.
that, constantly touching them, different touch points, checking in with them, remembering certain important dates in their lives, getting to know them on a personal and professional level, knowing their goals, their aspirations, checking in on those things, having little office events. And I think it goes back to culture and building a community, and then having that individual relationship with each agent in that office is super, super important. And following up and being there, and of course taking the phone calls, but just being present, being active. And that's why retention and support is a full-time job in and of itself, and it's just as important as recruiting. It's huge, it's everything. So constantly being there, supporting, knowing there's opportunity, knowing you want to help, checking in is huge.
Well, okay, here. So I would look and say then, as a broker, owner, or even team leader, when we talk about support, we talk about really having those lines open, building out that culture. As you were saying that, what I was thinking in my head was like going, okay, there's a really similar message that we give to agents, right? And to the agent, though, it's directed specifically to the contact list and to everybody that knows them, likes them, and trusts them.
Yeah.
Stay in touch.
Yeah.
Communicate. Get to know each other. Create an open line of communication, make it easy to be able to collaborate together, be it just to talk about the Blue Jays game or to find out about what's going on in the real estate market.
Yeah.
And as you talk about, like, never stop recruiting your own agents, which I love the line we talked about it the other day as well. This is really what it comes back to.
Yeah.
It is really imperative. And look, all the agents tuned into this right now understand, and we talk about this often. And if you're tuned in on a regular basis, if we work together, I'm always preaching, like, be in touch with your contact list, right? Really build an ongoing flow of communication so that people know who you are, and they're open to hearing from you. They're open to learning from you. They feel comfortable connecting with you. Well, again, broker owner, team leader, this is a very similar thing. Right. Instead of it being your clients, though, it's your agents.
Right.
Do the exact same thing. Get to know who they are. Know that I love hockey. Talk to me. Right. Don't talk about hockey. I do not want to talk hockey until like the fall, because it is a soft spot for me right now. We're in baseball season. We're going to focus there. So, but like baseball, focus on baseball with me, right? Yeah. The more you can learn about me, the more I will confide in you to help me when there's problems and challenges. And this is where that word recruiting comes in. You're not sitting there selling. But as we talk about in real estate, you're just building relationships.
Exactly.
That's exactly what it comes down to, right? So if we look at specific services then, you mentioned marketing. We know that I've had people call me before and be like, look, I think I'm going to switch brokerages. And I say, why? And oftentimes I'm just not busy enough, or I mean, there's a lot of reasons why people want to make a switch to somewhere, but like, I'm not busy enough, or I don't know what to do. And I'll ask people straight, like, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? IPAs, the income producing activities, making your phone calls, doing your social media posts, connected by email, getting together with people. Well, no, I know I need to, but I'm not really doing it. But I think I'm going to switch brokerages anyways. And you're like, what's the brokerage switch going to do for you if you're not doing what you're supposed to do? Now, let's assume an agent's doing what they got to do. And here I am as a broker. What are some of the more specific services that, so we talked about marketing, is training imperative? Do I have to have that stuff in-house, or should I just be sourcing some of the best trainers out there? Like, what's the thing around marketing and training? Like, does this have to be in-house stuff, or is it maybe just the connections with those people? What's your take on that?
I mean, I personally think that you should have it in-house.
Okay.
That's just my personal opinion. I think that having training in-house is another touch point with your agents, and getting in front of your agents and building relationships with your agents. But then you can also hear what kind of training they're looking for and that they want, and you can really hit those points. I do think, leveraging a third party to come in every once in a while to put on training is important as well. But I definitely think in-house is really important.
And so to actually like build out those people, or like, so it's not just having the connections, but it's actually having like somebody who's there that can actually support,
Yeah.
like we talked about, I
Right.
guess, right?
Right.
And what about from a marketing perspective? Is there anything like really badass cool that you're seeing some brokers or team leaders put into place right now that seems to have some really wicked traction attracting people?
Yeah, actually, I think that there's been some really great teams and offices that have built out really awesome social media platforms and really social media campaigns, that a lot of people are attracted to. And it's bringing people to their doors. But what I find interesting is, sorry, just to touch on like the whole social thing, is when they're building out this image on social media, this image of lifestyle and stuff, that when you actually go to the brokerage, that lifestyle is present in the office, and then it comes back to culture. So they're building that. So I think that's really, really neat. And I think people are attracted to that. So if you have, good social media campaigns as part of your marketing package that people can easily turn around and leverage and just share out on their own social channels, that's really neat. I've seen some people do some really cool videos. A lot of offices have these, in-office video and podcast stations, pods in there that all the agents can leverage and use. And then I think that you want to have all of your normal templates that people can easily plug their own information in and just get those done up for their individual business.
So from marketing, it is about having those tools. And are you seeing a lot more offices starting to implement that with like a podcast kind of video space?
I am. I'm seeing it
Yeah.
more and more. I mean, 3 years ago, I didn't see it really at all, but now I do. Yeah, I see little pods within the office that are dedicated just to doing podcasts, videos, social things, all that. Yep.
In conversations with anybody who's like running the office, who's actually implemented these pods, these spaces, what are they talking about when it comes to like the struggle of actually getting their agents to use it? And I bring that up, like, I don't know, maybe you're not privy to it, like they haven't brought those things up, but like I look and go, like we talk about get on video,
Yeah.
get yourself out there, be present, leverage the new school ways of like getting out there and
Right.
building the mind share. Yet I know firsthand, most people are very fearful of getting on a camera or doing a
Yeah.
podcast or like just like being front facing for people. I got to imagine that's a big challenge. Have you heard anything
Yeah.
about that? Like, or sorry, where people are having successes to bring their people in to do this stuff?
I think that's such a good question. It's really interesting. I think what I gathered in the conversations that I've had about it is that the agents want to know that it's there because they think it's cool that their brokerage has it. Whether they use it or not is a different story, but they're
Yeah.
happy that it's there.
Okay.
I do think that it is an uncomfortable thing for people to do. I am seeing more and more people on my social channels anyways do it. But I think having it there is more important than actually using it sometimes.
It's a good point. I think that what it does is it shows that you are in today's landscape, like we've
Yeah.
got spaces, like we'll go out and we'll do stuff. And I mean, I think everybody's aware of this, but we get a ton of content done and we can do stuff from our offices. We can do stuff like virtually, like anywhere that we are. And oftentimes we'll even go to like different studios and we'll just like use space. And there's always this thing, like when we're there, we go like, this is cool stuff, like having access to be able to just like have a space that is just ready to go for recording of, again, whether it's voice or video or both, having a space for that you can kind of sit back and go, this is a very cool space. This is going to give me some good content.
Right.
It's interesting that the offices are actually moving into that part of it. Like I remember probably less than 10 years ago, but somewhere around that time frame, I think it was like 16, 17, everybody was going through and like renovating offices. The tiles, the coffee stations, the chairs, the this, the that, the workspaces, like everybody was going through massive renovations. And at the time, that was what the attractor was. Oh yeah, but you got to come
Mhm.
into my office. Look at this. Like I could bring clients in here versus like the old school, like brown carpet with a cubicle.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it still
yeah.
works as a real estate office. It just, it doesn't show as nicely as the new ones do.
Right.
Is the I guess like I don't know, what do you call it? The tiles and the wood floors and all that stuff. Is that like crucial as well today in terms of
I
like
mean,
the look and feel? Are you finding that for
yeah,
people? I'm just curious. Like,
yeah, I think that a lot of people that I'm working with and talking to right now, it's a must because it's cool. You know, like it looks cool, it looks awesome, it looks hip, it looks current. You know, it looks good on video, it looks good everywhere. So, is it the most important piece? No, but is it important? Yes. And then I think it also attracts agents to want to come to the office, bring their clients to the office. Like they're proud of the office, they're proud of the look and the feel. And then agents, when you step in it, and for recruiting purposes, like you know, they're kind of impressed and blown away by the look and the feel, and it's kind of somewhere that you want to be. Even when I step into some of these offices that had this look and this feel, like I'm happy to be there. You know what I mean? Like I like being there. So I think that it is important.
so as you okay, and you're stepping into a lot of offices, obviously, right? So you're getting exposed to a lot, which is out there. What would you say like the big difference between like a really strong, effective brokerage versus like, let's call it a brokerage that has a lot of opportunity to grow? Would it be purely services? Would it be office space? Would it be management team? Is it all of the above? I mean, what's that big attractor?
I mean, I think it is a bit of all of the above. But again, going back to this part is, again, this is just what I've seen in my experience, but the attraction for the people I've been talking to anyways recently kind of starts on social media, because people are starting to look at that first and foremost to make sure that there's a presence there, what that looks like, what that feel is. So they're portraying this lifestyle, you know, and it's about freedom and leadership and collaborative thinking and giving back to the community, having fun. These are all things that lifestyle is really showing. And then when you go to the office, like my first thought was, okay, like there's no way that they can actually implement this lifestyle within the brokerage. No one comes to the brokerage anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you walk, right, like, does anyone even go? But, you know, I've walked into some of these offices who do this really great job on social, attracting people, and it is present in these offices. And then I think that lifestyle becomes, again, the culture of the office. And since we've been in COVID for so long, having like a sense of community, a sense of culture, sharing, being together, giving back, collaborative thinking, again, like the lifestyle piece, like it's so important, and people are so attracted to that, especially right now. So, and that's culture. Like it goes back to culture. I always go to that. It's super important to me. But I think a lot of the agents nowadays, it's super important to them as well. So I think that's like a huge attraction piece right
You
now.
just hit on something there that like it didn't even cross my mind. Are people going back into the office? And let me just say for a second here. I didn't even think about the fact that like we stopped going into the office for some reason. That like became like a total blur to me about the fact that we did, you know, some number of months ago go like, is that it? Is the bricks and
Yeah.
mortar done? And like, are people
Yeah.
never going back into offices again? I personally, I'd love to hear what you think, but just before you say it, I'd say like personally, I think that thought is like a thing of the past. I think people are out and about. I think they're going back into the offices. I think they love getting together with people. They love being at their desk. Like people are done with jogging pants and whatever, right? Like, are you seeing that though? Like, if people start to migrate right back in, has it just gone back to where it was?
I think in certain offices, like certain offices I can walk into and it's crickets, like there is no
Oh
one
yeah,
there. Yeah, but then there are offices, team offices that I'll go into, and it's bumping, like it's good, like you
yeah. It's
want
like
to
a
be there,
wicked
it's
place to
exciting and
be.
it's fun.
Yeah,
It's good, you know, and like it's important, and people are going back. I mean, I don't want to sit in my jogging pants in front of the computer any longer. You know, I want to be
that's what I'm
out where
saying.
the action
Absolutely.
are, where the
Yeah.
people is. And if there's events going on at the office, or there's trainings going on, or just people want to get together and socialize, bring their clients, whatever, they're there, and they're having fun. And it's I don't think that the day of not having an office is gone. I don't think that everything is going to be virtual. I think having an office is still very critical.
Well, I think as we predicted from the onset, as things started to sort of like make their headway, we kind of looked at that whole virtual way of doing things and said, yes, that will be a blip in time. And it certainly feels like it was a blip in time because, quite frankly, a lot of the stuff that people were talking about some number of months ago, maybe a year ago, year and a half ago, those have gone by, the wayside, and people are back to kind of that normal way of operating, thinking, doing, and just being a part of it. I want to take that opportunity for a quick moment as well for everybody. And for everybody tuned in right now, if you feel for yourself that you are in a funk in any way, you are not having the success that you want to, you don't have the motivation every single day, please understand you are not alone. This is not isolated to you and the person you're looking at in the mirror. This is a much bigger thing that happened. We spent 2 years developing new habits that we had no idea we were developing until the 2 years kind of came to a somewhat close. And we realized, like, oh my God, I got to get back out and I got to do things. I got to go back out and do something else. But understand, as March rolled around, at least here north of the border, and things began to open back up. And gas prices went through the roof and interest rates started to climb and the good weather came around and we had this thing called March break. I mean, people just said, like, I'm done. I need to get out and do something, and not necessarily work related, but I just need a break for a second because we've been so go, go, go. And as much as we might have thought off the top of this whole COVID thing that, as we look at like where we're going, everybody came to a pause for a quick moment trying to figure out what to do. Then everybody started to work, but like we started to work a lot harder and a lot more than we normally would. And we put in a lot more hours into our work. And then as we started to come out of this, just in this past March, everything started to change because everybody needed a break. And I think there's a lot of people out there right now whose mindsets are still readjusting. We're starting to see the traction, as you just mentioned. People are coming back into the offices. We're seeing that happening as well. And I wanted to take just a quick moment for everybody tuned in and just kind of share with you, like, again, if you're going through anything where you're just not feeling that 100% sense of motivation, you're not alone. A lot of people are going through that right now. And it's just a matter of refinding your groove. And so, as Jen, you just mentioned, and to everybody, take that suggestion, get back in there, get back with your people, go talk to people, go get yourself reacclimated with what you used to do prior to what happened and readjust those habits, right? When we think about just kind of changes, but not really, we talk about these brokerages, we talk about the big versus the small, the services that they're offering, the culture they create. I had that question. I mentioned this to you that Brad Inman asked me once, and he said, and I'm sure he asked a bunch of people, but how do agents continue to remain relevant? And I kind of bring that back to the broker owners right now and the companies, and how do they continue to remain relevant? Like, forget about just the agent, but how does the broker owner, who's been in the game for some time too, who's kind of like, they've had some good years and they're looking, going like, we're good. Are they though? What do they do to remain relevant?
So I think what they do to remain relevant is, keep current with all the ever-changing technologies and things that are going out.
The video stuff, like you mentioned, yeah.
Yeah,
cool. Okay.
Like keeping current on that, trying to implement it if they can, because again, that's what agents are kind of looking for, at least want to have the option to have. I think having a presence on social is huge, and being able to be on there, have a voice, push out some content that's interesting, both about the brokerage, but about the industry as well. I think, having strong communication with people within the industry, including their own agents, but knowing what's going on out in the field and how things are changing and be able to have conversations with their people about that stuff. Off the top of my head, that's what I would think.
So, okay, a lot of this is coming back to the relationship game, right? Like, build out the right relationships, create the right cultures, create the right environment for people.
Right.
And they'll continue to look at you as somebody who is leading the way. And I would add on to that, continue to learn.
Yeah. That's great.
So many people, I think, don't focus enough time on personal development, self-development. And when we do, we think about it from a physical standpoint. But, we've also got to understand the mental standpoint, the mindset part of it, that one, to get out of whatever you're going through at any time of your life, personal development. Two, if you want to get better at anything, personal development. Right. Like, this was another convo that I had with somebody today, and we talked about it today, actually. And it was the fact that, the more reading I do, the more I realize that the 18 and 20-hour days that we invest into our business on a regular, the 80 and 100-hour weeks that we put into our business, when we look at that, that is what most successful businesses had to do to get to where they are. And I always reference this one book because, again, for me, it was, and I've said this so many times, but like for me, reading Shoe Dog, which was written by Phil Knight, which is the Nike story, it's hours upon hours of trials and tribulations, of failure. And you're like, oh my God. But as I don't spoil it for everybody, I just say, come to the end of it. Well, that's that company called Nike.
Yeah.
Right. As it right. You get where I'm going with that. Right. So it's like if you want to get there, you got to expect to fail. You got to expect to lose. You got to expect to go through problems. And that's going to happen daily. And as long as you continue to put in the effort and continue to do all that stuff that's happening, it actually means you're doing something, you're getting somewhere, and success is coming for you. Anyways. So personal branding. We look at the brands that are out there. We know there's some like major brands in this business. And then we know that there obviously are independents. And then we know that there's like fresh, new, cool brands coming to the table, right? Yeah. How important is it for an agent to have a personal brand? Should they be mixing that with a strong banner behind them? And I'm just, there's many opinions to all of this stuff, but should they be focused on their own brand or should they be leveraging the big brand? Is there a happy middle? And I'll just sort of preface that and say, I know big brands, they're all about branding and they're all about like, no, like this is our brand. We want you to roll with our brand. And that's part of the company culture versus like what I almost think the new school way is. It's like, there's not as much there. Anyways, I don't know. What's your 2 cents on that? Is there a happy middle between the two?
My personal opinion is that there is a happy middle between the two. I do think that, for legacy brands, the branding is extremely important. And why wouldn't you leverage it? There's a lot behind that could benefit an agent to leverage and to use. And then you have, like the kind of new way of doing things, which is, the agent is first and they should have their personal brand. I do 100% believe in that and they should brand themselves and get their name out there. I do think coupling that with a strong brand and backing could be extremely beneficial to the agent as well. And just kind of leverage both. But I think that the agent should be the star.
And then as we talk, okay, so and then I would agree with that. I think that the agent, it's important because at the end of the day, and I've said this many, many times, if I'm calling as like a homeowner, I'm not calling the brand.
Right.
I mean, the brand wants me to call the brand. Quite frankly, they're like, if you call one of our agents, we're happy too. But as the agent, I mean, we could argue that each brand has a lot of agents. So which agent gets that call?
Right.
And this is where it comes back to is that really agents, everybody, it's you are the one that you want me to call you. You don't want me to call the brand, right? Because if I call the office, anybody could get that deal. But if I call you, you get that deal.
Right.
So I'm with you on that. And as we talk about brand and we talk about brokerages and the landscape of it all, where is the brokerage landscape going? Like you touched on lifestyle a few times there. And I would even say like watching like what Realty One is up to right now, it looks like a lot of lifestyle and it just like watching you guys and like buddies of mine for sure, but watching kind of like what you guys are doing with all the output of the marketing looks wicked. Like it looks lifestyle, it looks fun. It looks like there's a cool culture developing.
Fun.
No, but listen, from like this side of the tracks, looking over, that's what you see. Awesome. What you don't see prim and proper with the tie and just smug sort of pictures of we're serious people. No, it's like it's like come, we're welcoming, we're fun, we're inviting. Yeah. As we look at the overall, not just isolated Realty One for a moment here, but you brought up lifestyle a few times. How can somebody take that word lifestyle, leverage it, and run with it for their brokerage and or their team? You gave some examples of like certain brokerages, and again, no names, but you gave examples of like what some of the stuff you're seeing. About the way the branding goes through social and mirroring that in person. Like, tell me a little bit more about that a little bit here. Just like around like, without, again, getting specifics, but it's like, where are we going with this? I mean, if I said I want want to kind of get to that next level. And we should maybe spun this a few different ways today, but like that lifestyle idea of it. Like, what if I'm not all social media? What if I'm not a video person, but like I want to grow that out? Or what if I am? I don't know. Culture, atmosphere, kind of tying that all together there.
Yeah, I think it's like it's someone's, because not everyone's going to want to do social media and do these videos and
Right.
stuff, and that's fine
Exactly.
too. Or they want to get into it, and that's fine too. Some people are really good at it, but I think going back to the culture, the atmosphere, a place of collaborative thinking, a place of fun, unity, all those things are super important right now. And then I think it comes back to like, freedom and leadership. Like what I've noticed is a lot of people within the real estate industry are going in different directions within the industry, like in terms of, people starting podcasts and they're also real estate agents, or, having these other businesses that are complementary in the real estate business. And just having the freedom and flexibility to do that and like that be okay and accepted. And having that leadership in those areas is huge, and it's very accepting, and it's encouraged in a lot of places. So I think that's, kind of where things are going, flexibility, freedom, and just, coming through with culture and stuff.
I love that. Freedom. What a word. I mean, something us Canadians, anyways, I won't go there today, but no, seriously, freedom. I mean, seriously, it's that ability. And I think everybody tuned into that. That's an important note right there. You've got your culture. You've got your four walls. You've got a group of people. You've got your ways that you want to grow. You've got your views. However, as do all of those people that are there with you.
Right.
So how can you be collaborative together now? How can you allow people that freedom for them to go and fly and do that thing, but have that place that they can come back to and go, this is home. This is my comfort spot. And I think that if we take a lot of what we talked about today and kind of wrap that together, that's a big part of it.
Right.
When you're looking to expand that part of your business, if you are that team leader, understand, and broker owner, it really goes in the same thing there. You've got your way, but what are you doing to allow people a little bit of that freedom and then to give them that comfort place, right? I like that. You're out there building relationships on a regular basis.
Right.
You're talking to a lot of people.
Right.
Are you making phone calls a lot? Are you like emailing a lot? Do you get a lot of inquiries from people? Or do you are you always out there like going and like connecting with others? And like, even for the people that you've known for years, are you always on the phone with people and sort of like just doing the schmooze? Is that where you find the success comes from?
Pretty much. Like, I mean, I'm always out there. I'm always talking.
Because hey, you've won a bunch of awards for what you do, right? So like you do it really well.
Yeah, thank you. I hope so. But yeah, I'm out there just talking and meeting with people I already know, new people that are in the industry, pretty much everybody and anybody. But I'm out there building relationships. Like some of these people I've been working with, and talking to for years, but I continue to build and build and build upon that relationship. And that's really like the foundation of what I do, is just building the relationship, building the trust, talking to them, seeing what they see is going on in the industry. Like, are they facing any challenges? And I think that over the years, I built so much trust with them, these people, that, when I made the move over to Realty One Group, I got a bunch of phone calls wanting to know a lot about it. And, seeing if it could work within their business and help any challenges that they may be having, So yeah, I mean, I'm always out, but I'm a relationship builder. That's what I like to call myself. Anyone who knows me knows that's what I say, instead of, a salesperson, which isn't a bad word, by the way. I just like to call myself a relationship builder.
Yeah, but isn't that what this business is about? Like, it's a relationship business.
So.
We're not transacting. We're building relationships. We're building trust with people.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's a big thing people need to understand. But so tell me, Realty One Group, what are you guys up to? Like, there are some wicked things going on. We've mentioned that a few times today. Tell us, like, what are you guys doing to satisfy all of these needs that we just discussed today? Brokerage owners, team leaders, maybe looking to go next level, team leaders who want to become brokers. what's Realty One Group up to? Tell us a little bit more now.
Okay, I'm excited to talk about Realty One
Yeah.
Group. But I think, what really makes us unique in the real estate industry is that, we're kind of like a business in a box. So on day one, when someone opens their doors, especially for a startup, it would be extremely important. So that's, a team leader or an agent starting a brand new company. They have everything all ready for them to start seamless transition, open their doors day one, they're off to the races, they're ready to go. They don't need third party companies or systems in place to get started. We have everything ready for them day one. Here you go. So that makes us really unique. I think that, again, going back to the culture and lifestyle piece is huge. We, like you said, saw that we were doing that on social media. But we also, that's how we are. Like, we want to have fun. We want to be respectful of everybody. We want to be inclusive. All those things are extremely important. And that's kind of the lifestyle that we're building and the culture that we have built within our team. And then, going back to the team, we talked about it at the beginning of this call, is that we have assembled an amazing internal team to service our franchisees and our agents, which is extremely exciting. I feel like each of these people have been handpicked from different companies within the real estate industry, who have been in the industry for a very long time. And I'm just really fortunate to be able to work with some of these people, but it's an awesome, awesome team. And then, like, the support that we have, again, like, the team members that we have are going to be supporting these people, and they have so much experience doing that, that having that support is so crucial. And, that's a big focus of ours, is to support in goals and growth, especially. Growth is extremely important to us. So to be able to support that, it is massive. But that's kind of us in a nutshell, and what we're looking to do and what we're doing currently. But, like, thank you for all your kind words about Realty One Group and what you've seen so far. It means a lot.
Oh, for sure. You know what? It's again, it's fun. I remember when our friend John and I were having a conversation some time ago now, and just kind of looking at, like, the go forward sort of outlook to the whole thing. He was pumping it up, and it got me pumped up, and I was sort of looking into it, going like, it seems exciting, and I'm just super super excited for you guys. Now, are you guys actively make? I know, like, the front office group, like you guys are doing. Are people actively now able to engage just yet and start to become part of, or are we Yeah. So you guys already
Yes.
moving?
So we're moving and shaking.
Wow.
We just finished off a few last items that we had to do, but now we're able to bring agents on, bring franchisees on. But we're ready. We're ready.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So, and if anybody wants to learn more about any opportunities that are there, just tap in and sort of just find out more. What do they do? Who do they call?
So if anyone wants to learn more information,
well, learn more about Realty One Group, learn more about maybe the opportunity to, come over, transition over, whatever, start to work together with you guys. What are their next steps?
I think that if there's an opportunity for me to share my email or my social media, people can message me over that, and then I can send out information and kind of what the even if they just want to learn about us, just for curiosity's sake, I can send information over about who we are, what we do, things like that. But just message me, and I can send you details, or you can always go to our website.
What's the website? What's the email?
Can I write it in the chats, or
here? I will put it.
I'm
going to put it in a couple spots right now. So I'm actually going to put it on the live broadcast. So what is it? It's www. Or yeah, if you want to go ahead and put it in the chat, I'll copy it over and I'm going to put it out there on, like, the main feed as well.
Okay, so whoops, I lost my thing here. So, well, my email is jen@Realty One Group Canada.
2 N's, 1 N?
Eastern Canada, 2 N's.
2 N's. So at Realty One Group
Eastern Canada.com.
Canada. Right, Jen Realty One Group Eastern Canada.com.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so Jen Realty One Group Eastern Canada.com is the email, and what is the website?
So the website is realtyOneGroupCanada.com.
RealtyOneGroupCanada.com. Okay, cool. Those are both posted on the main feed as well. So if anybody does have questions, connect with Jen, ask her about that, find out a little bit more, just see what they're up to. Like we've been talking a lot about today is, the culture and the things that brokerages and team leaders need to, really get that next level in business. Well, obviously you got a wealth of knowledge you can be able to help people with. So again, everybody just get in touch if you do have questions.
Please, yeah.
Jen, beyond business, beyond anything, how do you know it's been a successful day for you?
I mean, how do I know?
Trust me, that pauses most people right there for a moment. Yeah, that's a good question.
How do I know it's been a successful day for me? I think I feel the best when I've talked to a lot of different people and I've had the ability to, make a new acquaintance in the industry, or I feel like I've had a really good conversation where I've learned something, or I feel like I made progress on a certain deal that I'm doing. But those are probably the days that I feel the best. Did that answer your question?
Totally. Okay. It's amazing how that still doesn't circle back to money. Nobody ever talks about money when it comes to success. And you know what? That is not a bad thing. In fact, I love the fact that that's the way it goes. Everybody tuned in. You've heard me say it. If you're a regular listener, you hear every single person, every guest we have that we are fortunate to have. Nobody ever talks about the money. And I say that on a serious note, Jen, and I say that to everybody understanding it is really, really, really important that everybody very much understands it is not about money. It is not about that. It is, how can you help other people? Mm-hmm. How can you, go out there and make maybe the world a better place for the people around you, for yourself? That's the key. And if people are doing that, and obviously you're doing that, and that's where you find success, that's how you live a very content life. Because if all we do is measure ourselves by money, well, most of us are going to be pretty pissed off every single day, because when it comes to real estate, that does not happen on a daily basis, right? It's just not the way it goes. But maybe final question here. What final words or tips do you have for everybody that is tuned in to help them get out there and expand their real estate business? Just some final words.
I would say talk to everybody that you know. Start a conversation outside the industry, within the industry. Talk to everybody you know.
Have conversations.
Done.
I love it. Opportunity comes from conversations.
I think so.
Well, this has been a great conversation today.
It has. Thank you, David.
Jen, thank you for joining us and making the time for the Mindshare podcast.
You bet. Great.
You bet. You are listening and tuned in and currently watching the latest episode of the Mindshare podcast. If you are listening to this latest episode, you are probably doing it on iHeart, iTunes, Google Radio, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify. Maybe you went to my website, mindshare101.com. And while you're on my site, make sure to download your free copy of the Ultimate Marketing Bundle for Realtors. This is a 31-page ebook. It is going to break down the 7 ways to communicate. It is going to give you a 90-day social media content calendar. And every single time you come up with that question that says, what should I do? Am I doing enough? Am I marketing enough? Am I promoting this listing enough? Any marketing you come up with, think 7 ways to communicate. Are you leveraging all 7? Are you supporting one channel with the next channel? And if you are, things are working. But if you still wonder what those 7 ways are, well, make sure you download the Ultimate Marketing Bundle from the ultimatemarketingbundle.com. Also, if you want to talk about one-to-one coaching, please get in touch. We are helping people make some tremendous changes in their world, in their businesses, helping people get to next levels, helping people achieve GCIs they've never achieved before. Turning businesses around and creating, referral machines. We're having lots of successes, lots of amazing feedback from people. And so if you're interested in talking about one-to-one coaching, please get in touch with my team. Again, go to remindshow101.com, click on one-to-one coaching, and you'll get all the instructions on what you need to do there. Much the same if you're looking for a keynote speaker, if you've got an event coming up for the fall, if you've got any event coming up and you want your people on the edge of their seat, we can help with that. just get in touch, and we got you. And much the same if you want to get into some training, some progressive training for a group of people, an office of people, an entire brokerage, an association of people. We do a lot of that every single day, and we'd be happy to help you with that. So please get in touch with one of our Mindshare experience coordinators. Go over to mindshare101.com, click on, contact us, or just send an email over to info@mindshare101.com. If you want, just DM me through one of the channels, and I'll make sure my team gets in touch. But we do look forward to talking to you, and again, helping you organize your Mindshare experience. Also, do not forget that our Push to 100 is on. This is super easy. All you have to do, and you can literally do that like in about 2 seconds from now, go over to ratethispodcast.com/mindshare101. So again, that's ratethispodcast.com/mindshare101. It'll help allow you to kind of go post to like your favorite platform, Spotify or iTunes, whatever it is. Maybe you can give us a nice little rating and let us know how much you love the show. We would be incredibly, incredibly grateful for that. Of course, if we haven't connected yet on Facebook, my handle is Mindshare101, David Greenspan, your real estate industry coach, as well as on Instagram at David Greenspan 101. I want to thank our friends over at the Buzz Conference, Virginia Munden and her crew, for sponsoring today's episode. Be sure to visit thebuzzconference.com and follow them on Instagram at the Buzz Conference to keep tabs on all of the awesome events that they're always hosting, along with getting the latest copy of the Buzz digital magazine. Of course, do not forget about the June 24th event that is coming up in, well, I'd say 9 days, but like this day is almost halfway sort of like done right now. So you got about 8.5 days left till this event, but make sure you go get your tickets. Do it right now. Go over to their website. Again, June 24th event. It's a philanthropic event. Get involved in that. And of course, also put in your calendar, September 7th and 8th, Disruption 2022. This is going to be a wicked, wicked event in the fall. So book those up. And last but not least, I guess you say it. Of course, I want to thank Keep in Touch Systems for sponsoring today's episode. If you haven't checked us out yet, go to my website, go to mindshare101.com, click on marketing, and hey, connect with my team and they'll give you a hand. This has been another episode of the Mindshare podcast. Thank you for tuning in.